It's a simple concept. It's our national motto. It has been since 1961. It's been on our currency since 1863. Started a congressional act in 1861. I think of the 51 other counties I've been to, it's been approved in all of them. In God We Trust is all over Washington, D.C., carved in stone. It's not a new concept. And my job is just to come here and plant the seed, give you an idea. But these ladies got me so upset in the hall I can hardly talk right now, so maybe you'd like to hear from them. As I was telling these ladies, I was in Memphis, Tennessee this winter when at midnight the police went all the way around these statues, and they came in with a crane and they took out these Confederate statues that were part of our history. And I kind of feel like this is happening. We can't have the 10 Commandments anywhere. We're not supposed to pray in school. And you know, I look back to when I was a kid, and things seemed a little calmer in this country. Guys brought their guns to school. Nobody shot anybody. I think part of this is just getting back to our Christian values, which these ladies think is wrong. So we disagree.
This nation became a nation because people came here for religious freedom. And if we're going to let the atheists and those without a faith message, I think we've lost a lot in our country today.
As a York citizen, I have huge concerns with this addition to the building, as it is not inclusive to all of the York taxpayers' views. This is the year 2018, and we have came a long way as a society. Arguably, still a long way to go, with learning to appreciate others' differences, culturally, religiously, politically, etc. And I feel like adding this quote to a building is setting up a divisive situation for our citizens, and it really shows that York is not an inclusive town. This is an issue that is near to my heart. I'm trying to teach my children the importance of embracing differences, and seeing one religious point of view on a county building is not setting a good example of that. I do have a compromise I'd be willing to cooperate with, which would be the In God Some Trust. As a side note to the money, I do know that it's on the money, of course. However, that is a bigger piece of a pie to chew, but this is something that affects where I live. So. Something unique to think about, this country was not founded on In God We Trust. That was actually not adopted as a motto until the 1950s. And if you go back and research the history, I'm not going to go into great detail about that. Now forgive my Latin, but E pluribus Latin for out of many, one, which was adopted as a motto in 1782 by Charles Thomson. Adding a phrase similar to this would be showing what really was the foundation of America. Think about it. Out of many, one. What a beautiful phrase that encompasses all walks of life and doesn't leave anyone out. I understand that your God is important to you, but the key word in that sentence is you, not us, we. If we need a quote on our building that shows our patriotism, because I did research in godwetrust.com, and it's this big, huge patriotism push. So if we need something that shows our patriotism, let's choose something that everyone can appreciate, not just a certain group of people who believe in God. Let's make a stand as York County right here and right now and say we are an inclusive town, and we do accept all walks of life regardless of culture, religious, or political background. We could start something new here. As she said, all these counties have agreed to this. Why not be the county that says, no, we are inclusive? I got off topic. We should start something new, something this country is in dire need of, bringing people together, not putting up quotes that divide us apart. I am fully aware and completely understand what I'm up against here. I'm not asking you to change your beliefs to what I believe, because I respect your beliefs. And I apologize if you felt offended. I was just questioning because, like I told Randy, my view is I'm trying to meet people where they are and understand where they are coming from, as I appreciate the same respect back. I am asking that you think long and hard about this decision that ultimately affects tax-paying citizens here in York County who may not believe the same as you. You need to decide what kind of environment you want York County to be. One that is seclusive to only what you believe, or a county that is inclusive of all its citizens, and a county that wants to work on bringing all people together, because that is how we grow as human beings. I will leave you with this quote to think about by Loretta Lynch. Let us not act out of fear and misunderstanding, but out of the values of inclusion, diversity, and regard for what make this country great.
And quite frankly, there needs to be some conversation, and just that, just conversation. You know, the part that gets me going a little bit is when we have a conversation and then, you know, we have somebody testify in front of us that is so worked up over this conversation. I mean, it's good to be passionate about it, but yet to get so mad is where we're going off course. And I sure don't want to cause that within our courthouse, but as I stated before, we do say that in our Pledge of Allegiance. So if it's not written on the wall, it's obviously written in our minds as we say that. Now, whether we agree with it or not, we are saying a Pledge of Allegiance, you know, at the start of every one of our meetings. I would like to talk probably more in private with Stephanie just to figure out what makes her go and what makes her think that way, and I can convey what makes me think the way I do and how I make my decisions and the background of me. But I would probably agree with Bill at this point in time, you know, because this was just brought up to us last week. It's something that we have forgotten about. It's something that is in our past but forgotten about, and we can talk a little bit more about it. I don't know if there's any urgency in doing it right now.
I did discuss this with my church board this last meeting because it was in the paper, and as said back there, we all consider ourselves Christian. Not all of us in this room, but all of us at our board meeting considered us Christians. And personally, I think your religion is a personal item. It's not a governmental item. Separation of church and state was one of the things that was very instrumental in creating the Constitution of the United States. However, we have had a lot of things in the last several years that have really changed the complexion of this country. For instance, tearing down those statues that somebody brought up. You can't change history by tearing down a statue. Those statues are part of the history of this country. But because it offended some people, they tore them down. So when you start thinking about changing things or adding things, then do so on a personal basis. That's my opinion.